Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights. Cameras. Hit me. This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
Balika on your screens. We're back for part 2 of today's conversation. Listen, the vibe be massive. The conversation there be big. It be bigger than big conversation. The only conversation with big conversation for share. You don't know. Charlie's still in the studio with Lenny and Shanti Baby. Now we switched up our guests. We have Atu Kilson on my left, and we have the man AQ all the way from across the border. Our brother Akwaba
from Nigeria.
For Nigeria, indeed, yeah. Charlie. So vibing here in the studio. For those of you who don't have insight on AQ is a man about the rhymes, a rapper, bar for bar. Also, he said brands, and you mentioned marketing and what did you say? Marketing and strategy. He says not a manager. Business and strategy. He's not a manager, but he's the business and strategy behind the man Black Bones as well. So it's multifaceted, multi-talented, delivering on both ends of the system. And then of course we have our all-wise and highly available Atu Kilson, who's been with us. You already know him. And Charlie, welcome to Culture Daily, my brothers.
Thank you for having me.
Indeed. Did you watch the first part of today's Colosseum fight?
I was in the green room. I saw everything.
You saw everything. Charlie, so the wahala be that Ghanaian music is at the front and center.
Very
of
passionate
the
people.
Yeah, at the front and
passion.
center of this conversation. The passion, the creativity, the hard work, everything that we've put into it. Now, before I even come to Atu Kilson, I want to hear from you, AQ, right? From your perspective, your experience, everything, having been in both spaces, from that side of the world, when you say Ghanaian music, what is the perception? What is the experience?
I think one of the things that was not talked about in the first
half of the
the first half was the foundation, right? At the time, it was Ghanaian music that was played in Nigeria. When we had so many VIP, R2Bs, Obrafour, Kosak, TikTok, Allow Me to Kiss Your Hand. Right. It was playing everywhere, right? I think the question you should ask yourself is what happened? What happened? What went wrong? And then when you look at the foundation, the thing about foundation is that you have to build on it, right? So if I ask a simple question like, who is the best music digital marketer in Ghana? I think that question will be found wanting.
Facts.
If you ask a question like, who is the best?
No, you won't be found wanting.
It will be.
Okay,
Pep Jr. straight. Pep Jr. is a good plug. There's a reason he's called Pep the Plug. He's called Pep the Plug for a reason. So if you say that, there won't be, it's not questionable. There's a reason he does. No. It's not to say that we don't have. We do have.
No,
if you do not know, you don't know. Do you understand?
I'm going somewhere. Do you understand? Because I've been here for a month and I've done a survey. I've gone round to understand the music landscape here, right? And then I've been to some of the offices. There's Glenn, there's Richie, there's, and then I compare it to the structure that we have. I'm looking for the A&Rs. I'm looking for...
Oh, that's the structure in Nigeria.
Do you believe that Ghanaians have forfeited understanding and activating the business element of music and rather focused on the show? On the show.
Yeah. So when you think about it this way, you think about what is the biggest market for music right now, like what is the biggest tool to market music, and it's social media. So you can rant about the DJs all day. Do you understand? If the audience keeps seeing Nigerian music on the social media because somebody is
being paid to manipulate that.
Not manipulate is a wrong word.
What word would you use?
Because the budget put on digital marketing, on social media marketing, is huge.
So would you say promote instead of manipulate?
Yeah. So when you think about the reach, that Nigerians have in terms of people, you think about culture, right? Just being here, every time an artist is trending in Nigeria, is trending here too. but you hardly, unless it's really a big issue, you hardly hear that something is happening here and it's trending in Nigeria. Do you understand? The average Ghanaian knows more about Nigeria than I know about Ghana. So it starts with all of that. We're always in the news, right? And then people want to know about us. We're always in the news for different reasons, because for the music side, I would say the structure is there, because you look like an artist, like you now look at the artists that are doing well right now in Ghana, right? So you put Black Sheriff. There is a structure behind them, a very big structure, Empire, right? You put King Promise. There is a structure behind them, a very big structure. Sony. Who else? This new boy, Olive the
Boy.
Yeah. Sony, right? So the clear thing is there. If the structure is better, the artists are going to go far. Terminator is big in Nigeria. Goodson is big in Nigeria. Kweku the Traveler is big in Nigeria. So the foundation is not. The DJs will play what will keep the audience in the club. Because you keep playing music that people don't appreciate, they're going to go to the next club. He has a job of keeping the people entertained. Do you understand? So when you look at it, I feel like I feel like the budget that goes into Ghanaian music is compared to what goes into Nigerian music is not at par. So the artist is able to focus on a lot of things like branding, just getting the cars, getting the houses. Do you understand? It just attracts that kind of success.
Factor.
That kind of success, even the way they look, that kind of success attracts more audience around the world. So
AQ, you keep mentioning the foundation. The foundation. I want you to build from foundation, right?
I feel like the foundation is good, but the way it continues.
No, is what I'm coming to. I want you to build up, right? How the business aspect of the Nigeria machinery looks like, right? So from foundation, just build it up based on the ecosystem.
So for me, like in my opinion, when we started out with the Kenny's music, the Storm Records, and all of that, those were record labels with structure. And then even at that time, Kenny's music was running a syndicated show with radio and TV. Yeah. Do you understand? And had coverage at the Grammys, right? That's already opening some kind of doors to just to say that, okay, these people mean business, because, they're covering the Grammys.
Massive head start.
Yeah, a massive head start. So when from there, then the likes of the Chocolate Cities, the Mohits, and then the Mavens, the Aristocrats, these are offices being backed with huge budgets and at the minimum of maybe 30 staff. Just 30 people tweeting your music alone is already... Do you understand? You walk into a label here, you see 3 people, right? Do you understand? Just 30 people that have 5 friends and just engaging heavily, because you're going to push what you believe in, and you work there. It's already a head start, and So somebody said something, and he said the artist should go and find money, and that was just like nah, I feel like there's something that I heard also in the first half where somebody talked about BPM. I feel like you and I talked before the show, and we talked about how Ghanaians
focus on the lyrics.
They don't compromise the content. While in Nigeria the vibe is the most important.
It's the priority.
Yeah, it's the priority, because people want to dance. And when you compare these two things, something is going to lack. So Nigerian songs are going to be more danceable than some Ghanaian songs. And then you need very experienced A&Rs to say, I would love you to keep your content, but we need to put the dance into it.
We need to build it this way.
So when you think of those songs that really did well, like Azonto, do you understand? It still has the Nigerian feel. I'll say Black Sheriff has really broken that stuff, because he can still be lyrical. When you were talking to me about the
Black Sheriff and Black Bones,
Black Sheriff and Black Bones, and I said that Black Sheriff will be more lyrical on the song than Black Bones will, not because Black Bones can't be lyrical, but that's not what the people are. That's not where the money
audience
is.
Preference.
Yeah, that's not where the money is.
being lyrical, and you saying Black Bones obviously being a rapper. I was recently watching the Hennessy Cypher celebrating 50 years of hip hop. Ladipo, Vector, Black Bones as Latan, and I noticed in the comments people from all over the world were speaking about how amazingly lyrical these Nigerian guys are. Do you think there's a place for that now in terms of the fact that Afrobeats is doing so well? Are we giving the same attention to the hip hop guys?
So in Nigeria, the hip hop guys, the local hip hop guys, the guys that tend to the local audience, I think they're doing very well. So you talk about Naira Marley, Zlatan, Charlie Poppin, Odumodu, but I see here in Ghana that there is a space for hip hop. Shout out to some of the guys that I know that are my friends, Lyrical Joe, Kojo Q. There's EL, there's Manifest, there's Sarkodie, there's there's Strongman, there Amaredo. There's a bunch of rappers here that are medical, that are doing stuff. I feel like what the Ghanaian music scene just needs is that huge funding. And like, if I ask now, like, what's a music business school? Who is teaching people to understand the music business? How do you select your managers? How do you, does somebody just wake up one morning and say, I like music, so I'm an A&R? What's your experience in the studio? Do you understand? When you start looking at all these things, it's not far-fetched. Because I was asking Ricky the other day, I was like, who produced Goodson? And he mentioned the name, and I was like, why is that guy not producing everybody's music here? Do you understand? Like, why do people still? Because that's what happens in my country. That guy has the hit. Everybody's going to him. SARS. Prime. And I'm like, why do people want to stick?
It happens in America. Timberland. Swiss Beats.
Do you understand? So while people like to point fingers around and say this person is not doing this, this person is not doing this, the problem is the Ghanaians, problem is the audience. The real problem is that you have to build the kind of music industry that you want for yourself, and that's, you have to get the hands that can really push the business. Do you understand? And you have to train those hands for the people that know, which is something that I said you didn't build upon, because the people that pushed Tiny, then Tiny had at the point, Tiny had the best swag in Africa. I'm not kidding. I don't know what the South Africans were doing that time, but we used to look at Tiny. Do you understand? We used to look at him like, no, that's the guy. Do you understand? All of the guys that worked with those people, Samini and all these guys, and pushed that.
Where are they?
Why did they not pass that knowledge? Why did they not, where are the guys that are taking that from them? And where are the young guys that are coming into the music business to just say that this is, because it's a young person's sport. This is our stuff. This is our business. And, we're going to push it. Do you understand? And by the time you start having all of those people involved, it starts to cut across, people start to see that the Ghanaian culture is, the music culture is like huge and everything, and it starts to export at a very quick pace.
You've made a very nice comment there. Well, you actually said something that just piqued my interest. You just said it's a young person's sport. Now, I noticed in the Nigerian scene, the OGs are more receptive to teach the younger ones coming up to offload knowledge. Do you think that happens in Ghana too? Are we of the same?
I've not stayed here long enough
with the younger ones
to see that, but I try to stay away from calling names and this thing, because I'm an artist myself. But the kind of impact that Olamide has had on careers, the kind of impact that MI has had on careers,
that Don Jazzy
Jazzy has had on careers, and I can keep going. I don't know whether it's the same here. Do you pull people in? Do you sign people? Do you try to push them? Because when an artist breaks into a certain place, he's supposed to go in there and open the door. Do you understand? He's not supposed to go in there and close the door. So when you break into Nigeria, who did you take along? Do you understand? And I don't know, from back in the time where the VIPs used to do songs with Two-Face, the R2Bs with One Day Cool, there are a lot of collaborations. That has slowed down. It's like the newer guys, it's only Sarkodie that is like, I don't care what you guys are doing over here. I want my Nigerian hook, and I'm going to get it. And is it working for him? Yes.
Yeah.
Well, in building the structures of, the music industry, I'm sure there's a conversation that is unending, right? We wish that we could find or speak through a solution today, and then that is what will be implemented, so that then we know that, Ghana's music industry is going to go, and go where everybody wants to see it, right? Where do you think we've missed out in the narrative and in the conversation?
So if I walk into Sony office in the UK, you'll see a Nigerian there, silently pushing the narrative. Do you understand? If you, in all of these offices, Warner, do you understand? And they were now able to now take those people and now say, okay, you guys have a sense of what's going on back home. Go and develop these companies for me.
Right.
There, right? I feel like when you think about Ghana from outside of Ghana, it's Ghana. Education is very important to them, and when you speak of education, I'm talking about being a doctor, being a lawyer, I think they are still in the phase where you want to convince your folks that you want to get into the music business. Or I
was just about to say
that. It's a difficult.
I was about to say.
I wanted to pick.
I want Ato
on the fact that.
No, please hold on. I wanted Ato to share his perspective, because being Ghanaian, being in Ghana, having that conversation over and over, where do you think that we missed out?
I think for us, we probably don't have a good succession plan. The OGs passing on the knowledge to us, and also kind of being able to keep these things running. Because AQ made mention of Kenny's music covering the Grammys. At a point, Foresight was also covering the BET Awards. But how long were we able to sustain that? You get me? And even with the structures that these other markets have built, you can see that it's been running for a while, and it is now paying dividends. Because, for instance, if you take South Africa into perspective, they brought in legislation in 2016. 7 years later, it has paid off. In 2008, Nigerian DJs and artists formed a coalition in Atlanta. It started paying off in 2016, 2017.
Right.
So it then brings into question how disciplined every member in the ecosystem is.
That's the question I wanted to ask you. That we've touched on the finance, we've touched on human capital, networking, succession plan, all these things, which is heavy on the creator and the creatives who are active in the space. But all that exists within a policy framework, right, which is the media landscape. Do you think, since Ghana is at such a deficiency, I mean, let's call a spade, since we are at such a deficiency, do you think policy is the way to go? As in, radio stations play this, do that. Like, I just got tweets and feedback based on the first segment, and somebody was saying that even in Lome, it's just one radio station that plays foreign songs, Max Radio or something, and they play it for 30 minutes and they get back to Togolese music.
But if you go to Togo, you still hear Nigerian songs all over the place. Yeah,
but at least not on radio. That's what I'm saying, that since the thing is already broken and flooding, policy is the one that can build some barriers to at least help while we are fixing our funding, succession, artist development, while we are doing this in the background. Policy is the only one that can say, don't bring telenovelas from South Africa and be singing their songs to us. Why you have a TV show, you can't use Ghanaian music.
I think earlier you made an illustration where if, for instance, there's a football team, you'd have to get a coach.
Or a
actually, you'd first have to get a team manager, because it's the team manager who's going to go and pick the coach.
So in our creative space,
the team manager,
I like that.
The team manager is supposed to be that policy framework where we know that, okay, this is where everyone is going to. For the coach, this is your job. For the goalkeeper trainer, this is your job. For the physiotherapist, this is your job. For the one who's going to be the kids manager, this is your job. For the players, this is the position you are playing, this is what you are doing. We need to spell out that structure, create it, and then that's the only way we can be able to hold each other accountable.
But bro, the structure exists, just that the structure is also failing. I know about the Gamos and the music guys and the chorus guys and the associations which are supposed to be fighting this fight for us. What happened?
You are supposed to reinvent the wheel, you get me? Because it's right now it's looking like the formula we had back then is no longer working.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. And even I'll give you an example. When you take digital marketing, for instance, and you're looking at Google, for instance, when it comes to SEO, right? the algorithm is changed all the time. So when you pick the Google documents and you learn how the SEO is working at this point in time, by the time you are done learning it, there's a new algorithm and you need to catch up with it. And it's the same with the...
And even now they've stopped that. They are now doing AI marketing.
You get me? And now they even have like Google for developers and all that. So it's the same thing everywhere. When, again, me, I'm a marketing guy, so I'll go back to marketing. There's this saying that content is king and context is key.
It's key, yeah.
When content if we say content is king, then it means basically what you are producing needs to be good, and all that. And then when it comes to context being key, you should know the where and the when, and what time, and how you are supposed to bring out whatever it is you are talking about. AQ made a point about Black Sheriff and Black Bones being on the same song. And Black Sheriff might want to sound lyrical, and Black Bones might want to tone it down a bit. That's knowing the when and where. You get me? Because we are all capable of doing what we can do. And it's the same thing with our industry as well. We have the people. It's going to surprise you. We have the people. You get me? But it's just about being able to sit up and having that honest conversation. Because for us Ghanaians, right, sometimes I hate to say this, but we can't be honest with ourselves. And I think it's about time for us to, have that conversation, have that honest conversation, and come to the realization that what we have been doing in the past is no longer working, is no longer cutting it. The world has moved on, and the world is moving on as well. So it's up to us to, catch up.
Do you think we have a problem with collaborating when it comes to the music space, especially?
Very big one.
And what if you and I and AQ can come together and make $1 million, and I can do it alone and make 100,000? Why do you think I would choose to go and do it alone and make 100,000? Because that's the typical Ghanaian situation. We've all been in business with some Ghanaians, and that was the picture.
Crazy.
The typical one is, I want 100% of nothing,
than 10%
1% of even
like
something.
Jay-Z said.
You get
what do you think that problem is? Because it cuts across all Ghanaian industries.
I think
it's a cultural thing. AQ.
I don't think Nigeria is a perfect place. I don't think the problems that you have, we don't have. Publishing is not working in Nigeria. They've been fighting, for a long time now. I think at a point, right, even when like all of these associations call for meetings and this thing, like the artists that matter barely
even sure.
When we were at the Joy News roundtable talk about safety, for example, and events, I was shocked to see that there weren't actually many events managers in the room. So it's just the same as artists. They don't show up to the conversations
that matter.
So there's a lack of seriousness.
It's not that.
Was it not only Sarkodie who showed up?
That's an African thing, right? But like, I think at the point for us, the artist and his people decided what was important. Do you understand? Because I feel like the good, I wouldn't say the economy is like really great here, but it's better than what we have, right? Gives the people here a relaxed way of doing things. In Nigeria, it's hustle or die. So at some point, the artist and his people decided what is most important, which is get money out of this thing. Do you understand? And they got the people that could get them. The thing is that Nigerians, we don't mess around. Like, is this the guy that can do it? Let's go there. Do you understand? Like, what's the
job done?
Yes. What's the cost? How do we get it? Do you understand? Like, and and that's how people started. Like the music business now in Nigeria is like a sort of employment.
Yes, I was gonna say, like,
the employment in the Nigerian music business now is like really helping the economy because a lot of young people are getting employed. In even major labels. Having A&R roles and having marketing roles and even product management. Like you'll be surprised to see that they've included product management as part of the things that you need, because music has become a product, and the way it is consumed is digital.
And how you even have to market that, right?
And everything. So when you think about all of these things and you see what started as a very small unit like YBNL and then what it has become today, you understand that if this guy can make it happen. That's the thing I've not seen here. Do you understand? I just gave an example of the producer. Do you understand? Like, if this guy can make it happen at any cost, get him. Do you understand? And they try to keep him. Like, they try to make him exclusive, to say, oh, what is it that you want? And that's how young people can now see that, oh, this guy is making a lot of money just being who he is. As do you understand? I need to learn what he's doing, and I need to do it better than him so that they're going to come to me. You know, so it's that spirit that I've not really seen here. I know he said something. You have the people, right? I've talked with a lot of brilliant young people. It's this guy Brian Demensa and his team they're just exceptional.
Yeah, songwriters.
I was even telling them that, look, man, you guys are going to produce my next album because they are just exceptional, right? But he's not being discovered. He's not being taken serious. Do you understand? Because his beats can be equal to what happens in the United States of America.
Right.
Do you understand? So who has that ear to just be like, this guy has a very bright
Let me put him on.
Yeah.
Let me take him.
I'll tell you what the problem is. So myself, for instance, right, I work through an agency. I have my own agency that I work with. And anytime you get someone like coming to you for you to do something for them, they want you to work in-house for them. And you working in-house for them would mean that you can't work for anyone else, which becomes a problem because you need that expert to help develop all the facets of whatever it is the person is working on. Because if I'm a producer, I can't just work with one artist for the rest of my life. You look at Majestics, for instance. He came through the gate with Ashake.
He got to give
but now
everybody
he's doing the same thing for everyone. Same with P Prime. P Prime came through Olamide. And he's also doing the same thing for everyone. You get me? But with the Ghanaian mentality and the Ghanaian industry, they want you to, if you have a formula, they want the formula to work for just them and not anyone else.
And it was like that before till people started saying, oh, you want to keep SARS? Okay, don't worry.
I'll make another SARS.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's still
like healthy competition.
Yes, it still depends on.
I remember watching a Drake documentary, and the interviewer asked him a question that what keeps him going all the time, and then he said sometimes when he sits in his room, he gets a panic attack and just wakes up because he remembers that there's a 10-year-old boy somewhere in his mom's basement with the same hunger that he had, who is trying his best to break into and take his spot. So when he realizes that, he sees that no, he needs to work 10 times harder.
But honestly, the talent here is amazing. The talent here is amazing. You know.
On that positive note, we've had a big conversation, but on that positive note, from
calmer conversation,
from dope talent to succession plans to investment to policy to collaboration. For me, that's the biggest one. Collaboration. We've had Mato Kilson and the man AQ here give us the perspectives that they share as well, and some interesting perspectives. There's been one long conversation today on 3 Music TV's Culture Daily, big conversation, but big shout outs to all of you for sticking and staying with us and being a part of this conversation. I've seen all your content on social media, tagging us and all that. We'll get to you, but nonetheless, Charlie, we're wrapping it up. It's Serial, Lelo, Shanti Baby, it's the Culture Squad in 3, 2, 1.
Bye.
Have a good day.